They look tired, man. They tired. These brake calipers, man, they tired. On today's episode, we're back with the gift that keeps on giving. We're gonna be replacing these tired old Porsche 993 calipers, which have done great justice to this vehicle and have fallen off 3 times. And we're gonna replace them with 993 calipers. Okay, so long story short, I was fornicating with someone's mom, and after leaving, I heard a lot of thudding and grinding from the right front of my S4. I got out, I saw smoke, and I saw that my brand new Neo-Speed wheel was curb rashed. Sorry, not curb rashed. The inside barrel was just like smoking, and there was a bunch of bare metal exposed. And upon further investigation, I realized that the bottom bolt of this caliper had backed out and allowed it to make contact with the wheel. So this caliper bracket, because these calipers are not designed for this car, like I said, they're from the Porsche 993. This is the adapter that makes it bolt onto the B5S4, and the threads at the very bottom of this were just completely backing out. The other week, I went ahead and retapped this, rethreaded it, and I put a Healy coil in it, so this is now super sturdy and good to go. The reason we're replacing both of the calipers today is on this right side, the bleed screw got a little bit jacked up, so I think it's just time to swap these out. Let's begin. Alright, so the very first thing we gotta do is clean these brackets up. They're aluminum, but they're super caked in brake dust and axle grease, because this car likes to eat axles, and the CV boots will tear and just throw axle grease all over all the parts of the suspension. These brackets are from 2 Bennett. 2 Bennett was a brake company that used to supply brake calipers and rotors and custom brake setups for your Audi. I don't know if they're still in business, but 2 Bennett was actually who supplied these calipers, the floating 2-piece Porsche rotors, and the brackets for this car. With that said, I can't really find this replacement bracket anywhere, so we're just gonna clean it up, check it out. Hopefully there's no cracks or any damage to these, and we'll get a better view once it's actually cleaned up and there's not a bunch of debris all over it. If anyone's wondering why we're not replacing the rotors, it's because I cannot find these particular rotors to replace. So the thing with these is, these are 2-piece rotors from the Porsche, and I believe this centerpiece is specific to the S4, because I do not believe that the Porsche 911/993 has a 5x112 bolt pattern. Someone could correct me in the comments. But with that said, this top hat piece is different from the rotor, and only rotor I found for a replacement is something crazy like $2,500. So we're gonna do some more research before we jump the gun and order something. So one thing to mention is if you look at the vents on the top of the rotors here, it helps cool down the brakes and keep all of the heat out, and helps them not blow up if you're tracking the car and they start glowing red, which 90% of these cars will probably never see. But with that said, it is still very important to make sure that the ventilation for the brake disc are going in the proper direction. Same thing with the direction of the slotting. It has to go a certain way. So this one, where the arrows are pointing downwards, makes that the left caliper. And we're not gonna grab the other one, but basically the other side, the vents face the opposite direction. So you just gotta make sure that you're putting these in the right spot. Otherwise, bad things will happen. Your car will explode, and I will have to buy it for $500 on Marketplace like I find the rest of these deals, and fix it and struggle for the rest of my life. On the road again. I just want my B5S4 on the road again. Please stop f***ing leaving me stranded on the road again. I just want my B5S4 back. This doesn't love me. It loves the flatbed more than f***ing YG. It's a sad story, really it is. I want my B5S4, but my B5S4 has no love for me. Good. There's never dinner. Master's got me working. We've got our assortment of crush washers here. The thing with these copper washers is you can get away with reusing them a couple of times, but when it comes to something like brakes, I wouldn't mess around. I would just replace these if you can. Even if it takes a couple of days for a part to show up, just replace them, because I mean, brakes are literally what stops the car. Next couple minutes before we tidy everything up, because this is aluminum, so you don't want to over torque it because it can very easily crack. So we'll look up the proper torque specs or Newton meters for the caliper bracket to the caliper, and then the bracket to the aluminum upright, because we're gonna do shit legit even though I'm not legit. All right, so the brake calipers are in, the banjo bolts of the brand new washers are in, the uprights and the brackets have been cleaned up. Everything has been torqued down to spec with a torque wrench. I believe it was 63 foot-pounds per the Bentley manual for the caliper bracket, but I looked up the Porsche numbers, so these aren't B5S4 brakes. So everything's torqued down. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna hook up the power bleeder. We're gonna show you guys how to use that, and we're gonna just vacuum bleed the calipers. First, we're gonna start with the front. You should do the rear right, rear left, front left, and then front right, because you want to do the caliper farthest away from the master cylinder. However, considering we took the front brakes off and all of the air is in the front brakes, we should bleed the front first, get some air out. We'll bounce to the back, then back to the front. This is not sealing properly. So first thing you want to do, first of all, let me put a disclaimer. I am no expert. I'm just a guy with fancy tools. That's about it. I'm not an expert. So first thing you want to do is pump this power bleeder up to 12 to 15 PSI. And I just like to set this hose up top here so I can watch the flow, because the last thing you want to happen is you don't want this flow to run out, and then you're going to suck a bunch of air into the brake system, so you definitely got to watch out for that. So that's been plumbed to about 13 psi, which is perfectly perfect. And there are 2 bleed screws on the 993 calipers, and that's the name of the game with a lot of Brembo brakes. There's a lot of bleed screws on both sides, 2 total. I believe Wilwood also does that, but they do top and bottom. So hop to the other side. Yippee! What a pain in my ass. Oh God. Give me flow. Come on. Do great things. There it is.
This man Yasuker is trying to bleed his brakes without taking the wheel off.
As I was explaining, this car doesn't have hub-centric rings. I ordered a set and they didn't fit, so screw me. So it is a royal pain in the butt to get these wheels to go on and off.
Pump it!
Okay, way better than before. But pressing the rotors, pressing the caliper. Since the calipers are brand new, the pistons are sucked inwards. They're not pressing against the brake pads. So now I just pressed it a couple times to engage the brake pad on the rotor. Then I'll check one more time if there's air still retaining in these brake lines. But the pedal does feel a lot better. So.
And we forgot an outro. Porsche brakes work great. Now the transmission's giving you some trouble, so he needs to tear it apart, diagnose it, and replace it. Hopefully it's nothing too major. But, you know, that's it. That's all we have for the Audi so far. I want to get on here though and apologize for being a little bit lackluster with the content recently. I know we haven't posted in a few weeks. A lot of things have changed, a lot of good change though. In Allen Films, my personal life, a lot of things have been going really great recently. So I've needed some time to reorganize, figure things out, and get back on track. So with that said, there's going to be a video coming soon. I don't know if it'll be next week, But I'm going to show you guys the brand new Allen Films headquarters, along with some new cars, one new car, and some things we've done to our cars that you've seen on the channel before. So with that said, thank you guys again for watching. Thank you guys for being patient, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned.